This annual symposium that we are all attending has in many ways become a celebrated platform where a wide variety of institutions, leaders and experts reflect and exchange experiences as well as perspectives. This symposium should enable us to examine the state of democracy on our own continent, Africa, because the process of democracy preoccupies many academics, many policymakers and practitioners, both within Africa and more broadly beyond the continent. I'm sure that the contributions that will be made at this symposium will examine whether Africa has a democratic deficit or not. An examination of the recent political history of Africa reveals that democracy has made great progress on our African continent. Countries that describe themselves as democratic are members of a very broad church. They range from nations that respect citizens' political freedoms and civil liberties to those that repress dissent and hold elections that are neither free nor fair. Just as other regions of the world display varied system of governance, there are discrepancies amongst African countries as well. This year, at least 16 African nations are holding presidential elections. Although elections do not automatically lead to representative governments, competitive multi-party elections constitute a sine qua non for democracy, and regular ballots indicate progress towards ensuring citizens are able to participate in choosing their leaders. Broad-based electoral democracies have supplanted the authoritarian and military regimes of previous decades. And this is a great achievement for the African continent. Deficiencies in the quality of some electoral democracies have raised concern about the potential for reversal. The opening of political environment requires impartial, professional, and technically sound arbitration of election competition. Electoral management bodies have delivered credible elections on our continent, including here in South Africa. And this is where the role of an institution like EISA becomes very important. Yet many countries still fall short in the administration of elections. The lack of credible electoral processes and disputed results are not the only threat to the consolidation of democracy. Some of you might have watched the debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump this morning, and where Donald Trump says, well, he's not going to say whether he'll accept the outcome of the election or not. And Hillary Clinton immediately said, this is a direct attack on our democratic ethos and culture, to dispute the outcome of elections. And one hopes that on our continent, as and when elections are held, particularly under the tutelage and the management of election management organizations, be they EISA, be they the National Election Commission of whatever country, that the contestants will be brave enough, man and woman enough, to accept the outcomes of the will of the people. This is a very critical marker and determinant. The continent has known enough suffering. It has experienced slavery, colonialism, apartheid, and Cold War imperialism. The people of this great continent of ours, Africa, yearn for peace, they yearn for development and selfless leadership. Increasingly, they demand their share of the fruits of freedom, peace, and democracy. This 20th anniversary symposium will provide insight into the progress that we have made towards the realization of those aspirations. It will also need to look at what holds us back. What is it that holds us back as Africans from reaching out to address and fulfill the aspirations of our people? It will also need to look at what needs to be done to move us forward. This is an issue that we should grapple with as well. This symposium should provide an opportunity to openly reflect, debate, deliberate, and share our experiences of our democracy in Africa.